Welcome back, everyone. All set to play baseball here at Fenway Park. The Red Sox and the visitors from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the Brewers. The Brewers have taken the first two games of this series. 7-4 on Monday night, 9-5 last evening. Our weather this evening here at Fenway Park, 66 degrees will be our temperature at game time under cloudy skies here at Fenway. Brewers, as they go for three in a row, here is their lineup tonight. Jody Reed will lead things off for the Brewers. He will play second base. And then Billy Spires, who has been a pain this entire series, bats number 2, plays at third base. Turner Ward will bat third. He's center field. Greg Vaughn back in the lineup, the cleanup man, playing left field. Dave Nilsson bats number 5. He will do the catching. John Jaws Jaha at first base. Ryan Harper bats 7th. He is the DH. Matt Mieske bats 8th, plays right field. And then Jose Valentin bats number 9, and he will play shortstop. Jim Joyce behind the plate. He'll be calling the balls and strikes. Ed Hickox works at first base. Jim McKean at second, and Terry Kraft at third.
The Red Sox are 10th in the league in defense. They've made 28 errors in their 32 games, and tonight they'll have Scott Cooper at third base, Carlos Rodriguez the shortstop, Scott Fletcher at second, and Mo Vaughn at first. Left to right will be Mike Greenwell, Otis Nixon, and Andy Tomberlin, just called up today. Rich Rowland gets the start behind the plate, and on the mound, right-hander Aaron Sele. His record stands at 3 wins, 1 loss, a 2.68 ERA. Last time out, and a 3-game winning streak stopped by the New York Yankees. Lost that ball game 3-1. 5 in the third innings in that game. 6 hits, 3 runs. 2 of them were earned. Had 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. Only threw 85 pitches in that game against New York. That was on May the 6th.
So he is all set to go. As the Brew Crew leading off, Jody Reed, Billy Spires to follow, and then Turner Ward. First pitch by Sele is up high. 1 ball and no strikes. Sele was 1-0 against the Brewers last year. Jody Reed carrying that 247 average. No homers and 10 runs batted in for Reed. 2 balls and no strikes. Reed has 3 hits in the series. Went 1 for 5 in last night's ball game. Made 2 outs in the 7th inning when the Brewers scored the 6 runs. Scott Cooper flagging it down at third base over to Mo Vaughn. So 1 up and 1 gone. Nice play by Cooper at third.
Jody Reed, who has been hitting at the bottom of the lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers, bumped up to that number 1 spot tonight because of Hamilton being out of the lineup with the troublesome right elbow. Top spin on this ground ball, and a fine play by Cooper to start this ball game off. 1 step to his left, and then plenty of time to throw Reed out at first base. Have a new look for the Red Sox tonight, trying to do anything to stop the losing streak. They're all showing blue on their baseball socks tonight. Used to be a rule here at the Red Sox years ago. You had to do that. That all started this afternoon by Mike Greenwell and Scott Cooper.
Think it'll work?
We'll find out in about 9 innings.
Now here is Billy Spires, and he has been working for the Brewers. 3 hits last night, 2 on Monday night. Has knocked in 4 runs in the series. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Spires now carrying a .329 average on the year. No home runs and 12 runs batted in. It's away from Sele, and the count goes 2-1. Red Sox come in 20 wins, 12 losses on the year. They're currently running 3rd now in the Eastern Division, a game and a half behind New York. Butch Hobson sending out Frank White with the lineup card tonight. There's the big call by Jim Joyce, and the count is even. 2-2 to Spires.
A lot of meetings around the ballpark this afternoon. Hobson had all of his coaches in for a lengthy meeting this afternoon. I would say a good 45 minutes. A couple of roster changes. Foster's gone. Chris Howard up. Andy Tomberlin called up as Bankhead goes on the DL. Every time you see coaches involved in a meeting, you think, well, maybe they're discussing more possible moves by the ball club.
Got a number of people down at Pawtucket that are both hitting well and pitching well. Spires looks at ball 4. First base runner for Milwaukee tonight.
Number 27, center field, Turner Ward.
Hobson has had to go to his bullpen a lot. Obviously would like to get a strong performance from Aaron Sele tonight.
Well, you would think the next two nights, with Sele going tonight and Clemens going tomorrow night, that both those guys should get you deep into the ball game and maybe give some guys a rest out in that bullpen.
There's Turner Ward, who is in center field tonight for Milwaukee. Otis Nixon drifts to left center, makes the catch, and there's two gone.
Number 23.
So Ward going after the first pitch, retired in a fly ball to center field, and the batter will be Greg Vaughn. Vaughn was not around at the end. He departed last night's ball game in the fifth inning. Thrown out by then plate umpire Terry Kraft, and his manager Phil Garner went with him. It was the first career ejection for Greg Vaughn. Vaughn called out on strikes, threw the bat down, and by all indications got bounced for that. Out came Gardner, and he went as well. Sele misses outside. 1 ball and no strikes, the count on Vaughn. Vaughn had a base hit in 3 at bats last night. Was a strikeout victim twice. Had a couple of hits in the Brewers 7-4 win here on Monday.
Couple of stolen bases on the season for Billy Spies, has not been caught yet. Red Sox been doing most of the running in this series.
The Sox tied a club record last night with 5 thefts. Fouled off by Vaughn. That was sort of lost in that 6-run Milwaukee uprising in the 7th inning last night. Brewers coming back to win at 9-5. Nobody was talking about the Red Sox 5 steals after the ball game. Phil Garner, his 3rd year as the skipper of Milwaukee, as his club right now tied with Chicago for first place in the Central Division. Sele gets the call on the inside corner. A ball and 2 strikes now on Vaughn. Sele has beaten the A's, the Angels twice this year for his 3 wins. As Jerry mentioned, was a loser his last time out to the New York Yankees.
Sele trying to find out just how wide Jim Joyce's strike zone is going to be tonight. Last night, a very large strike zone for Terry Kraft, who is now at 3rd base tonight. Sele trying to move that ball just a couple more inches inside, but that time Joyce would not give him the strike.
Byers there huddling quickly with first base coach Tim Foley. Brewers 2 wins over the Sox this series. They've beaten Boston now 5 straight times. They swept a 3-game series last October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd to close the '93 campaign here at Fenway. Fletcher at second base with the play to Vaughn. In time to retire Mo's cousin Greg at first. That's all for Milwaukee. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. Brewers come up empty against Sele. The Sox are coming up. Well, Milwaukee Brewers failed to score in their half of the first inning. Red Sox coming to bat here bottom half, which Hobson's lineup card goes like this tonight. Otis Nixon will lead things off. He will play center field. Andy Tomberlin bats in the number 2 hole. He'll play right tonight. Mike Greenwell hits 3rd. He will play left field. Mo Vaughn is the cleanup man. Vaughn at first base. Andre Dawson bats number 5. He is the designated hitter. Then it is Scott Cooper playing at 3rd base. Rich Rowland hits 7th and does the catching. Scott Fletcher batting 8th and playing second base. And Carlos Rodriguez will be the number 9 hitter. He will play shortstop.
Defense tonight for the Milwaukee Brewers. They are 9th in the league. 28 errors in 31 games. Bill Spires at third base. Jose Valentin, the shortstop. Jody Reed at second. And John Jaha, the first baseman. Left to right will be Greg Vaughn, Turner Ward, and Matt Mieske. Dave Nielsen gets to start behind the plate. And on the mound, big right-hander Cal Eldred. His record stands at 3 wins and 3 losses. A 3.65 ERA. Opponents only hitting .227 so far this year off Eldred. He's coming off probably his strongest performance of the season. He beat Toronto in that ball game. Worked 9 innings, only allowing 3 hits and 1 run. This guy is a workhorse. Last year, 258 innings. That was the most by any pitcher in the American League. One thing that did hurt him last year were the home runs. 32 home runs. So far this year, he's only allowed 1.
He allowed 4 home runs 2 seasons ago. It skyrocketed to 32 last year, and then down, as you mentioned, to 1 so far this season, and that came in his first start. Harry Steinbach hit a grand slam home run for the Oakland A's on opening day. So here's Otis Nixon to lead it off for the Red Sox. Bottom half of the first, followed by Andy Tomberlin and Mike Greenwell. Nixon has had a pair of 2-for-4 ball games against the Brewers in the series.
Nixon was one of those players reluctant to wear the new look Red Sox tonight. Said it makes me look too old.
Has just a shade of blue showing, but it is showing. Others are a little bolder. But Otis going along with things. Quickly leads in the count. 3 balls, no strikes.
Eldred can get it up there. He'll get some pitches up 92, 93 miles an hour through the course of the game. Curveball, changeup, split-fingered pitch.
Four straight out of the strike zone, and Nixon, who had a couple of steals last night, goes to first via the base on balls.
Number 30.
The thing he'll do too is he can throw a lot of pitches in a game. I believe in every start he's made this year has been over 100 pitches, and a couple of times last season went over 150.
Here's newcomer Andy Tomberlin, who last night had 3 hits for the Pawtucket Red Sox to run his average up to 352. Ball Sox playing down at Norfolk. Comes up with a 14-game hitting streak. Looks at a called strike. Sox got a look at him briefly in spring training. We didn't see a whole lot of Tomberlin.
Signed from the Pittsburgh organization, had a long time with the Braves minor league system. Of course, they were stocked with outfielders. It's like starting all over again when you get the Pittsburgh organization. Red Sox picking him up, and now in the big leagues.
Nixon picking, as we mentioned, numbers 7 and 8 up last night as far as the steals go.
Hitting in that second spot, responsibilities for Tomberlin right off the bat, especially when you have Nixon at first base, a stolen base threat.
Nixon will take off. Nilsson's throw not in time. And Nixon with his 9th steal of the year.
And Nixon went through a stretch early in the season where he was getting a bunch of stolen bases. Then, of course, hamstring problems slowed him up, and now he's starting to pile them on again. Number 9, as you mentioned, again with the head first slide. And the Red Sox taking advantage of this Milwaukee combination. As we mentioned last night, Nilsson's only thrown out 12% of the runners, but also hasn't had a whole lot of help from the pitching staff.
Tomberlin looks at a fastball wide. 1 ball, 2 strikes now, the count on Andy Tomberlin. Otis Nixon at second base. Nobody out. Sox bat here. Bottom half of the first inning. Billy Hatcher in an 0 for 17 slump, being given the night off for the Red Sox. Andre Dawson, who had the night off last night, back in the lineup tonight. And Tim Naring was a late scratch for the Red Sox. Tomberlin lining this one down the left field line, foul.
Talking to scouts here at Fenway Park before tonight's game about Tomberlin. That is the type of hitter that will use the gaps every once in a while, show some power, has very good speed, had 5 stolen bases at Pawtucket, and they said he's a very good outfielder.
Yeah, Butch Hobson was echoing those comments before the game, saying he was a dirt ball type of player. He said he really liked him. He said he reminded him a lot of Tim Naring aggressiveness wise. Butch saw him when he played at Buffalo in the Pittsburgh system. He has an above average arm. Will go down swinging here against Aldred on the high heater.
Left field.
Mike Greenwell coming up.
Upstairs with the fastball for Eldred. He will work a lot up in the strike zone, try to get you to chase that high fastball.
Greenwell is slumping with just 1 hit in his last 21 times at bat. Andre Dawson has gone 0 for his last 18, and Billy Hatcher with just 1 hit in his last 23 at bats. The reporters were asking Hobson before the game about the possibility of giving Greenwell the day off, but Hobson says Greenwell's really not that type of player. Greenwell will hit 300 or close to it before the year is over, and Greenwell prefers just to work his way through the slump. Pitch, a strike to the Gator. Greenwell hit on the right elbow by a Paul Gibson pitch Saturday in New York. Hitting .217 on the year, 6 home runs. They've all come here at Fenway. And 21 runs batted in. You can see what Nixon is doing to Eldred, requiring a lot of attention. Nixon takes off. Greenwell swings away, grounds it up the middle, flagged down behind second base by Jody Reed. That will save a run. Base hit for the Gators.
Well, when you're having a difficult time getting base hits, you'll take them any way you can. Jody Reed made an excellent play to get to this ball and keep the Red Sox off the scoreboard. Goes to the backhand into the dive, and Nixon will have to hold up at third base. Nixon was off with the pitch. Had he been able to pick up exactly where this ball was, he may have had a chance to score, but he stopped at third base, and then Nixon will run the ball back into the infield. I should say Reed will run the ball back into the infield.
Nixon makes his way to third base. Mike Greenwell, of course, is over at first. One gone here, and Mo Vaughn is the batter. And Vaughn will rip it on a line into the corner in right field. Nixon scores. Greenwell motoring to third base. He'll be held there by Gary Allenson, and Mo Vaughn will check in with an RBI double.
Mo Vaughn jumping on the fastball, getting the head of the bat out and lining it right down that right field line. Allenson holding up Greenwell at third base as the ball was played fairly clean out there by Mieske. He's able to get it to the cutoff man, and once Allenson sees the throw is going to be an accurate one, he just hold up the base runners.
So it's a 1-0 lead now for the Red Sox. Greenwell at third base. Mo Vaughn down at second, and Andre Dawson coming to the plate.
Well, either we had a late switch in the lineup.
That's what I was just trying to figure out.
Or the Red Sox just hit out of order.
My guess is we were wrong.
Yeah, because Garner would be out there right now.
High fastball to Andre Dawson. 1 ball and no strikes. Dawson, as mentioned, had the day off yesterday. Trying to battle his way through an 0 for 18 slump. He's been saying he has been in a funk since the Yankee pitchers were jamming him over the weekend. No funk here. Base hit left field. Greenwell scores. Vaughn moves to third. It's 2-0 Boston. RBI single for Andre Dawson.
Certainly for the Red Sox offense to be effective, you need the production out of the 3, 4, and 5 guys. And for a while, Greenwell and Dawson had been in pretty decent slump. Dawson with the night off last night quickly gets back into action tonight and picks up the base hit to drive in a run. So far, the new look Sox lead this one 2-0.
Well, they win this one. Frank White will be trotting that lineup back out again tomorrow, and the blue will be showing a plenty here. The Sox and Brewers close out their 4-game series here at Fenway. Here's Scott Cooper. Cooper 1 for 3 with a bomb into the center field seats last night. Cooper's 9th home run of the season, matching his total of all of last year. 6 home runs now for Cooper in his last 14 games. Sox have now connected for 42 round trippers as a team. Tied for second best in the American League.
Cooper usually very effective at getting the job done with less than 2 outs and a man at third base because he's a fly ball type hitter. And the combination working against a fly ball pitcher, you would think Cooper would have an excellent chance of getting the job done.
Three balls, no strikes.
And the way he's going with a right-hander following him probably has the green light. 3-0.
Mo Vaughn's at third base. Andre Dawson over at first. Red Sox have plated a pair here against Cal Eldred in the bottom of the first. Cooper will walk and the bases are loaded.
The catcher.
Now Eldred, coming
18.
off, as Jerry mentioned, his finest outing of the season, his last start against Toronto, has gone 7 innings or better his last 6 starts. His shortest outing this year was his first on opening day against the Oakland A's. There was no decision in 5 innings on the mound. Milwaukee going on to win that ball game. Since then, he's gone 7, 7 1/3, 7, 7, 7 and 9. Catcher Rich Rowland. Him and Barry Hill handled the catching chores for the Sox last night. Rowland caught the series opener on Monday night and went 0 for 3. Rowland getting the start tonight. As you mentioned, Barry Hill last night. Valley still bothered by that bruised shoulder. Still bothering him, but he's listed as day-to-day. Foul back by Rowland. There have been some trade rumors popping up in the newspapers concerning Valley.
Seems like right now Hobson leaning toward catching Rowland more, along with Berryhill. Valley at this time, of course, with the injury, appears to be the odd man out. Most of the conversations that Hobson will have now about his catching situation kind of just revolve around Rowland and Berryhill.
That's a 2 RBI single to left.
Certainly any time, and especially when the offense has been struggling, you can get yourself a big base hit with the bases loaded. It's going to open up some eyes. Breaking ball this time from Eldridge, having trouble finding strikes with his fastball. Goes to the breaking ball, and Rich Rowland all over it with a line drive base hit. Vaughn was very deep out there in left field and allow a couple of runs to come across Vaughn and then Dawson. Don Rowe, the pitching coach, out now to talk to Eldred. No activity in the bullpen as of yet for the Brewers. They have also had their bullpen worked fairly hard in this series so far.
Gives us an opportunity while we have this slight delay here to tell you about Timmy Nearing. He took a ground ball between his nail and finger part, pulled it back a little bit, caused it to bleed a little bit. Was soaking in the clubhouse before the game, taped it, but was not able to go tonight. He did it taking ground balls during infield practice.
Certainly affects everything, your throwing ability and also swinging the bat. Very frustrating injury. Nothing major, but aggravating enough to keep you out of the lineup. And the way Nearing's been going, he certainly wants to be in the lineup.
Well, Red Sox now with a 4-0 lead. Number 8 hitter, second baseman Scott Fletcher, hitting .232 on the year. Couple of homers and 5 runs batted in. Foul ball, third base. And the Brewers able to turn an inning-ending double play. 5-4-3 around the horn. Sox, though, will plate 4. They lead it 4-0 after 1.
Back at Fenway, where the Red Sox lead the Brewers 4-0 after 1 inning. We'll take a look at the Harvard Community Health Plan top 5 RBI leaders. And first in the American League, Joe Carter on top with 39. Puckett and Franco tied with 35. Gonzalez and Canseco, both of Texas. National League, Jeff Bagwell of Houston with 35. Gary Sheffield, Galarraga, Matt Williams, and Jeff Kent, 28, New York Mets.
Well, Aaron Sele goes to the mound, 4 runs better than when he was last out there. So it is a 4-0 lead for Sele and the Red Sox. Dave Nilsson, John Jaha, and Brian Harper coming up for the Brewers here in the second inning. Sele pours in, strike 1. Nilsson 2 for his last 20. Carrying a .248 average on the year, 4 home runs, 17 runs batted in. He has gone 0 for Boston so far, 0 for 5 last night, and then 0 for 3 on Monday. There's that curveball from Sele, and it missed. 2-1 now. The count on Nilsson. Fastball away. Sele's second major league start was against the Milwaukee Brewers here at Fenway last June 29th. You recall he debuted here against the Twins on the 23rd in 1-3-1. He was no decision against Milwaukee his second time out. Down low, Nilsson walks, and the Brewers get their leadoff man aboard here in the second.
42 walks in this game for Aaron Sele. Last time out against the Yankees, only 1 walk. Time before against the Angels, only walk. His high for the season, 5 walks. That also came against the California Angels back on the 24th here at Fenway Park. Last thing in the world he wanted to do, he get spotted 4 runs and come out and walk the leadoff man in the top of the second.
But that he has done. Nilsson aboard at first, and here's John Jaha hitting at .244 on the campaign. This is game 6 of a 7-game road trip for the Brewers. They'll be home this weekend to play the Yankees 3 times before hitting the road again. Jaha on the trip with 6 hits and 18 at bats. Sele is up high and continues to struggle with his control, and Rich Rowland will go out for a word.
It's like Mike Rock was about very close to coming out of that Red Sox dugout also. Talk with Sele, but once Rowland headed out there, Rock just stayed at dugout. He's trying to get his attention, and he's pointing to his left shoulder, telling Sele to keep that shoulder tucked in. Last pitch here, you'll watch that front shoulder really fly out for Aaron Sele, and that fastball goes high in the strike zone.
trails 3-0. Mike Rourke. There's a called strike. Jaha had a couple of hits in last night's game in 5 at-bats. Had a double and an RBI. Fouled back on the screen. Count goes full now on Jaha. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Brewers last night had 14 hits in that 9-5 win. Road trip for Phil Garner. They lost 2 of 3 over the weekend in Toronto. Have won the first 2 games of this 4-game set here at Fenway. Jaha, ground ball to short. Rodriguez over to Fletcher. Back to Vaughn. Not in time, and it gets away from Vaughn. Rowland will back up the play. So they knock down the lead runner Nilsson at second. Jaha safe at first on the fielder's choice.
Very quick release by Rodriguez, the shortstop, on that flip to second base to Fletcher. The throw, though, appears to be just a little bit high, which will throw the timing off for Fletcher. He has to reach back in toward the runner, take one extra step, and that will allow Jaha to be safe. Vaughn didn't catch the ball, but even if he did, that runner was going to be safe at first base. Lucky for Fletcher that runner was not a little bit closer to him, because that's the kind of throw there that can get you hung up. You're taken out of a lot of plays at second base.
Batter is the designated hitter Brian Harper. Pitch is up high to Harper. 1 ball to no strikes. Harper hit his first home run, his only home run as a Brewer, Saturday at Sky Dome off of Todd Stottlemyre. On busy, he will hold with Jaha at first base. Sele gets the call there from Jim Joyce. The count is 1-1.
Jaha certainly doesn't look like a base stealer, but last year did have 13 stolen bases on the season. He's thrown out 9 times. Not have one yet this season, and 4 runs down. I would be surprised to see him go. Not that teams don't run anymore when they're 4 runs down. It's just usually you say that for guys like Nixon or Ricky Henderson.
Nice curveball from Sele on the outside corner. A ball and 2 strikes. Harper, of course, among the more difficult in Major League Baseball to strike out. Generally will put the ball in play. Time called. Line drive at the second baseman, Scott Fletcher. Back at first base goes Jaha.
No chance for the double play because the ball was hit so hard. Jaha could only get a couple of steps off first base.
Number 30, right field.
He said that Harper was tough to strike out.
That's Jaha. This contact, he'll take just a couple of steps. By that time, Fletcher already has the ball, and no chance for the DP.
Jaha at first, 2 outs. Matt Mieske will be the batter. Mieske was recalled from New Orleans yesterday.
After being sent down the day before.
Gone back and forth a couple of times this year. Started with the Brewers, was optioned to New Orleans on the 16th of April. Called back up, sent back down, called back up again. Past Cooper and past Rodriguez into left field for the base hit. Jaha stops at second. That is the first Milwaukee hit off Sele tonight.
It's going to be a tough position for a guy like Miesky. The guy that they constantly make the call for at the minor league level when there's an injury. You almost have to sit down there and wait for an injury before you get called up. Well, he's taking advantage of it. A hit in the ball game last night. Picks up a hit here off Aaron Sele. One thing, this Milwaukee team has been a scrappy bunch. Not only in this series, in the series they played up in Toronto, they were all very close and competitive games against the Blue Jays. They lost 2 out of 3.
Jose Valentin looks at one up high. Valentin becoming the shortstop. Spires moving to third base following the hamstring injury to Kevin Seitzer here on Monday night. Seitzer on the 15-day DL. By all indications, will be out a lot longer than that. Healy continues to struggle as he falls behind the number 9 hitter Valentin. 2 balls, no strikes. Valentin had a couple of hits and 4 at bats, including a double here last night. Also had a double in the ball game on Monday. Pops this one up. Vaughn moving over in foul territory, looking up, makes the catch, and that will retire the side. So for the Brewers in the second inning, no runs on 1 hit, no Boston errors. Milwaukee strands the pair after 1.5. 4-0 Sox. It's game 3 for Zip Sox. Jody Reed leads off for the Brew Crew here, top half of the 3rd inning. Looks at a called strike. Reed followed by Spires and Turner Ward as Aaron Sele makes his way through the Milwaukee lineup for the 2nd time. Fouls off the curveball, and Sele leads in the count 0-2. Reed began the ball game with a ground ball to third base. Scott Cooper made a nice play to throw him out. Missed inside with the fastball.
Interesting to watch tonight. Otis Nixon helping out Tomberlin out there in right field as far as positioning goes against these Brewers hitters. Of course, Nixon still learning a lot about the American League. Saw the other night where he carries that sheet in his back pocket. Once in a while he'll take a peek at that to look at positioning against a certain hitter.
Reminds me of one time a quarterback with the Baltimore Colts when they had a couple of them go down and they had a guy who didn't play all the time went in and had the plays written on a card.
Tom Addy?
That's right, Tom Addy.
Baltimore Colts.
Remember looking down at the card to see what play to run next. Jody Reed with a base hit to left field between Cooper and Rodriguez. Second Milwaukee hit of the night, and for the 2nd straight inning, the Brewers get the leadoff man aboard.
Jody Reed had been slumping before coming to town. He's been able to get his share of base hits in this series. Breaking ball that time didn't do very much for Aaron Sele, and Jody Reed picks up Milwaukee's 2nd hit of this ball game.
It has not been vintage Sele so far, but he has kept the Brewers off the scoreboard. Batter will be third baseman Billy Spires, who drew a walk back in the 1st inning. Seems like Spires has been on base the entire series. Breaking pitch missing inside. 1 ball, no strikes on Spires. 5 hits and 10 at bats so far through the first 2 games.
Looks like he's always on base against the Red Sox in his career. Over a 300 batting average against Boston pitching.
Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. We're not quite ready to put Spires on that all-time Red Sox killer team, or the current one anyway, which features the 2 names that would come to mind would be Joe Carter, of course, of Toronto, and Reggie Jefferson of the Seattle Mariners. Jefferson wore out Red Sox pitching while he was here, and of course Carter due into town this week, although he's bothered by that vertigo problem. One ball, 1 strike, the count on Billy Spires. Missed away, and the count goes 2-1. Spires last year 113 games for the Brewers, hit .238. Hit .277 at County Stadium and just .201 on the road last year. Sele with 3 wins on the season, 10 so far now in his major league career. And falls behind Spires, 3 balls and 1 strike, and that'll bring out pitching coach Mike Rourke.
Really been no pace to his work tonight. Sele obviously scuffling out there, trying to find his control, find his rhythm. Red Sox infielders and outfielders kind of back on their heels, a long time between pitches. Very uncomfortable early going, even though Brewers have not been able to score on them. They've been able to get some men on base, and Sele'd like to get this thing worked out as quickly as possible.
Rourke and Hobson, of course, would like to see that as well. The one thing they really don't need from Sele is any sort of early exit here tonight. Harry Allenson, third base coach, with Hobson there in the Red Sox dugout. Sox have a 4-0 lead. Milwaukee bats here top of the 3rd. Jody Reed at first base. Nobody out on a count of 3 balls and a strike on Billy Spires. Down low for ball 4. That's 3 walks issued by Sele tonight.
It's a little bit like Danny Darwin's a couple of nights ago. Usually both guys with excellent control, having a tough time early in the game with the base on balls.
Darwin, of course, eventually got himself straightened out. Batter will be center fielder Turner Ward. Ward getting a chance. 90-93 with the Toronto Blue Jays. 152 games, hit .239. Started only 87. So far in 94, getting a chance to play every day and making the most of it, hitting a .310 clip. Buried behind, it seemed like everybody at Toronto, and then the tail end of last year, they went out and got Ricky Henderson, and Henderson played left field, and Ward was forced to sit and watch. Picked up by Milwaukee on waivers in November, and very happy to be in a Brewer uniform.
Now with the man on second base, Sele and Roland not quite on the same page as far as the signs go, what they're going to be using with the man on second.
Jody Reed stands at second. Bill Spires at first. Nobody out. Turner Ward, who flied out to center field back in the 1st inning. Still looking for his first hit in the series. He was robbed here last night. Otis Nixon made a great catch off him in the 5th inning of last night's ball game. Ward lining it out to left center. Otis Nixon sprinted back to the warning track, leaped in the air, and pulled the ball down. This is just not Aaron Sele tonight.
A lot of trouble with the fastball, almost like now he's aiming every pitch that he throws.
Gets a strike. 2 balls and a strike now. The count on Ward. Ward does not have a hit in the series. He has walked 3 times, including twice last night. Bruins in New Jersey battling tonight. Game 6 at the Boston Garden. We'll keep you abreast of developments down on Causeway Street. Ward right back to Sele. Could be 2. It's going to be 1 as he goes to first base and gets Vaughn. Looked to third, never bothered at second. Went to first base, gets Ward as Reed moves to third and Billy Spires down at second.
Sele turning the wrong way. The proper play obviously would have been to go to second base. That's the one they work on all the time, and he would have had an excellent chance of getting the double play. For some reason, Sele looks toward third base. Can't make a play there. Then it's too late to go anywhere but first base. A couple of men will be able to remain in scoring position. Jody Reed and Spires at second and third.
1 out and a very tough man at the plate in Greg Vaughn.
See, by going to second base and at least getting a force there, it leaves a double play possibility alive with the first and third.
Vaughn fouls it down the right field line. Vaughn is at .231 this year with 3 homers and 12 runs batted in. Vaughn last year smacked 30 home runs, drove in 97. Jody Reed there leading off a third. Pitch is up high to Vaughn. A ball and a strike. Ball with a chance to drive in a pair for the Brewers here. Will push it on the right side. That'll get 1 run in. The Sox will exchange, obviously, the run for the out. And happy to make the exchange as that's 2 outs now. Spires moves to third. Jody Reed comes in to score.
11, Dave Nielsen.
Spires at third, 2 outs. Dave Nielsen, the catcher, the batter. Has had problems hitting away so far this year from County Stadium.
Nielsen trying to surprise everybody, probably even his own dugout, by attempting to drop down a bunt. Got the curveball that kind of threw his timing off.
Grounds this one to second base, should end the inning. Fletcher gets it over to Vaughn. That will retire beside. For Milwaukee in the third inning, 1 run on 1 hit. No Boston errors. The Brewers will leave about it. The Sox have a 4-1 lead after 2.5. Well, here at Fenway, 4-1 Red Sox. Boston will come to bat here. Bottom half of the third inning. Mike Greenwell, Mo Vaughn, Andre Dawson coming up. Game 3 of this 4-game series.
Now batting for Boston, the left fielder, number 39.
Greenwell has hit left-handers about 116 points better this year than he has hit right-handed pitchers. Carries a .224 average overall to the plate. 6 homers and 21 runs batted in. Goes after the first pitch and drives it deep out to right field. It is going. It is gone. A home run for Mike Greenwell. Number 7 on the year. They've all come here at Fenway Park. And the Red Sox lead is now 5-1. Hader breaking out of his slump with a single and a homer in 2 at-bats tonight.
We mentioned last night that Greenwell, a lot of times when he's not swinging the bat well, will swing at the first pitch. Well, he also, when he's swinging the bat well, he swings at a lot of first pitches. The difference is he gets a strike. Fastball down and in, and Greenwell quickly with the hands in, the extension, and home run into the bullpen. Second allowed by Eldred on the season. As you mentioned, Bob, number 7 for Greenwell.
First time Eldred's giving up a home run since his opening day start against Oakland. Batter is Mo Vaughn. Way up high to Vaughn. 2 balls and no strikes.
A lot of times when Greenwell's in that bad streak, he'll swing at the first pitch, but the first pitch won't be a strike. Home runs continue for the Red Sox. A lot of solo home runs recently.
Vaughn's ground ball flagged down there. It's by second baseman Jody Reed. One gone here in the Boston third. That'll bring up Andre Dawson.
Number 10, the designated hitter, Andre Dawson.
Sox last 9 home runs now have come with the bases empty.
Dawson's talking about the Yankee pitching staff pounding him inside, trying to jam Dawson, trying to tie him up. Then you have the tendency a lot to pull that front shoulder off when you see a lot of inside fastballs. Sometimes you get in trouble when you start to pull that off.
Hit it there. That is way up beyond the bullpens out in right field. Be a heck of a shot.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Andre Dawson hits that sign in this at bat, I will leave the booth and never return. Because I want to finish my baseball career on seeing a home run go that far to the opposite field.
Jerry's career will continue.
Whew, thank God, I need the money.
Andre Dawson delivers a base hit to center.
Number 34.
Got a lot of disappointed people out there now.
Dawson with his second hit of the night. And that time he did hit a fastball that seemed to be away from him, kept the front shoulder on the baseball and able to drive it right back up the middle for the base hit. Now when that front shoulder leaves, that kind of pitch there, you a lot of times will end up pop up that pitch or hit a fly ball to the opposite field. Dawson right on that fastball.
Batter now, third baseman Scott Cooper. Skied into shallow right field. Mieske coming in, Reed going out. Reed will handle it, and there's 2 gone.
The catcher, number 18, Rich Rowland.
Catcher Rich Rowland comes up. Rowland may have earned another start for himself with a solid RBI knock to left field back in the first inning. Drove in a couple of runs. Now has 5 RBIs, as you can see, in his 5 starts. Sox have a crowd catching, but nobody hitting. But they're looking for one guy really to come on and just claim the job. Berryhill has caught a lot recently. Somebody gets the hot stick. They're in for a lot of playing time. Oh, and jammed with that one. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Rolen, of course, not doing a lot of catching, still probably not completely comfortable with all the pitches on the Red Sox staff.
Location by Eldred.
Watch games where Rolen's catching, you probably see, and it's happened quite a bit in this game already, Sele shaking him off. A lot of times when both pitcher and catcher are used to each other, you may not see that 2 or 3 times the whole game.
Third ball up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Rolen. That's here with Andre Dawson at first base. 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Red Sox enjoying a 5-1 lead.
Certainly that's one of the advantages that Tony Pena had. He was here for so long, got a chance to obviously work with all the pitches, and he knew exactly how to motivate them, what they needed, when they needed a kick in the pants, and also when they wanted to throw certain pitches in certain situations. That are things that Barry Hill, who is sitting right near Sele now, and Rich Rolen and Dave Valley really have to still learn, and it takes a while. It's just not one time that they see the guy. It's over and over again.
Fastball missing inside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now the count on Rolen. That'll send Dawson at first base off of the pitch. Rolen pops it foul. And so we'll do it all over again. Seattle playing at Chicago tonight. Randy Johnson was originally scheduled to start that ball game for the Mariners, but he was scratched tonight. He has a tender right knee. He's had it drained twice, and the Mariners say he will not pitch now for at least 5 days. Down low for ball 4. Dawson to second base. Rich Rolen aboard at first. That's 3 free passes issued now by Eldred.
I would imagine the Chicago White Sox very happy to hear that Randy Johnson was scratched from that ball game tonight. He's one of those guys that I don't think anybody enjoys facing, and anytime you catch a break like that, very thankful.
Particularly if you're Robin Ventura or any of the left-handed hitters. Scott Fletcher looks at one way up high. 1 ball, no strikes on Fletcher. He hit into a 5-4-3 double play to end the first inning. Fletcher 228 on the year, a couple of homers and 5 runs batted in. And a double and a home run in the ball game out here Monday night. Two-0 pitch. Neither starting pitcher able to settle into any sort of groove. Sele's been scuffling all night, and so has Eldred. 4 straight out of the strike zone for Fletcher, and Eldred has walked the bases loaded.
You mentioned the last couple of nights. It's unusual for this pitching staff. They are the best in the league as far as not walking people. Navarro had some problems with walks yesterday early in the game, and same situation tonight with Cal Eldred. Nothing happening down in that bullpen. As we mentioned, Eldred's the kind of guy that they will go a long time with. Throws a lot of pitches.
Carlos Rodriguez looks at a called strike. Rodriguez flied out to Matt Mieske in right field to begin the second inning. with 3 wins and 3 losses so far in the year. Bases loaded with Andre Dawson at third base, Rich Roldan down at second, Scott Fletcher over at first. 2 out. Sox have scored a run here in the 3rd inning thanks to the home run by Mike Greenwell.
Yeah, you kind of hope after a performance like Eldred had last time against Toronto that may be a springboard for him for the rest of the season. Hope to back it up with another outstanding performance next time out. Well, it hasn't happened so far in this game.
Line drive at the second baseman Jody Reed, and that will retire beside. Sox get 1 on the home run by Greenwell, but leave the bases loaded and have a 5-1 lead now after 3. Well, bottom of the 4th on tap here at Fenway Park. Red Sox have themselves a 5-1 lead over the Milwaukee Brewers. Check our game summary and see how we have gotten this far. Sox got 4 off Cal Eldred in the 1st inning. Vaughn's RBI double. Roldan's 2-run single highlighting the inning. Brewers come back. Greg Vaughn knocking in a run. And a ground ball to second base. That made it 4-1. And then Mike Greenwell's solo home run into the bullpen in right field makes it 5-1 Sox. So that's where we sit as Boston bats here in the bottom of the 4th. Red Sox will start their 3rd trip through the order, sending up Otis Nixon, Andy Tomberlin, and Mike Greenwell against Cal Eldred. Eldred, like Sele, struggled tonight, but unlike Sele, he's been scored upon a bit. 5 runs, 6 hits off of Eldred. He struck out 1 and walked 4. Up high to Nixon. 1 ball, no strikes. Nixon walked, stole second back in the 1st inning. Scored the first Red Sox run coming in on the double by Vaughn. Two and 1 now, the count on Otis. Base hit center field. First hit of the night for Nixon. That's now 7 for the Red Sox.
With the velocity on Eldred's fastball and plus the fact that Nixon hit so many balls between third base and shortstop Valentin was shading him toward third base. Ball hit hard about 5 steps to his left, and he'll pick up the base hit. See, what helps too is that Valentin, because of his speed and bunting ability, has to play almost a double play depth every time he's up. Well, certainly that cuts down on your range, and that allows Nixon to pick up a few extra hits every year. Quite a few extra.
So here's aboard to begin the Red Sox 4th. Andy Tomberlin robbed by shortstop Valentin, who can't quite turn a double play. Tomberlin was going to pick up his first hit as a member of the Red Sox, but taken away by Valentin at short.
Well, one of the major differences between AAA baseball and Major League Baseball is obviously the defense, and Tomberlin's finding it out right here. Tremendous defensive play there by Valentin. He timed the jump perfectly and takes away a base hit. Almost had the double play too, as Nixon almost tripped over John Jahar over at first base.
Batter left fielder Mike Greenwell. Showed you the slump numbers on Greenwell earlier. Greenwell had 1 hit and 21 times at bat coming into tonight, but has gone 2 for 2 tonight. Singled to center, scored a run in the 1st inning, and then hit his 7th home run of the season in the 3rd. Red Sox have 5 runs, 7 hits. The Brewers 1 run on 4 hits. Eventually, Eldred's going to have to throw the ball.
Trying to hold the baseball as long as possible, trying to throw off the timing of Nixon. If you watch Nixon at first base, he'll keep that right leg constantly moving, the foot tapping up and down, trying to keep momentum, not becoming too stiff. There you see him going with the footwork.
He takes off. Nilsson takes the shot, but no chance at all. Nixon with his second steal of the night.
Really been no contest when Nixon has attempted stolen bases in this series. And he gets the excellent jump. Takes Eldred quite a while to get rid of that baseball, and this time the feet first slide for Otis Nixon. A lot of times we see him go in head first. Number 10 on the season.
4 in the last 2 nights now for Nixon in scoring position with 1 out here in the 4th. Red Sox had 5 steals last night. And Nixon has picked up 2 more tonight. Sox now with 25 as a team this year.
Vince Coleman leads the league in stolen bases with 16 coming in tonight's action.
Two-0 pitch to Greenwell is popped up. Greg Vaughn in left field makes the catch, and there's 2 gone.
I think Greenwell upset as far as pitch selection for him. He had himself in a 2-0 count and really chased a pitcher's pitch on that count.
Batter is Mo Vaughn, brings a .367 average to the plate. Vaughn doubled to right field, driving in a run in the first inning, and then grounded out to Jody Reed at second in the 3rd. Ball, no strikes to Vaughn, who has hit safely now in 11 of his last 12 ball games. A home run Sunday in New York, both of them coming off Terry Mulholland. One 500 feet plus into the upper deck in right field. Grounds this one foul behind Frank White, first base coach's box. I think he lost his bat.
Certainly didn't sound too good off the bat from Vaughn, and he's going to fire it away. Wait for the bat boy to bring out a new one. Looks like that one's already doctored up. Got a little pine tar on it. And he's ready to go. Players will bring down. Some guys bring down 3 or 4 bats, and other guys will bring down 6 or 7 bats for one game. Some of them different sizes, different weights.
Vaughn drives this one deep to left field, right down the line. It's gone. A home run for Mo Vaughn. Vaughn's 10th of the year into the screen. Nixon will score in front of him, and the Red Sox now with a 7-1 lead.
Well, whatever bat that bat boy brought up for Vaughn, Vaughn should give him a big tip after this ball game. He certainly picked the right one. Ball's away from Mo Vaughn. Instead of trying to pull it, he'll just go right with it. A hard line drive up in that net out in left field. Home runs continue for the Red Sox, and tack on a few more runs. Now a 7-1 ball game.
Greenwell and Vaughn with home runs tonight. The Sox now with 44 on the year.
Nice to see one there too with somebody on base.
(7-1) Sox. Andre Dawson 2 for 2 tonight. So the fastball away. 2 balls, no strikes on the Hawk. Ground ball to short. Jose Valentin with the play, getting it over to John Jaha, and that will retire beside. But the Sox get two on the home run by Vaughn. They have a 7-1 lead after 4.
Rodriguez and Scott Fletcher have not had a lot of work together. It looked like on that last double play, Fletcher expected Rodriguez to take this one himself. See how far away Fletcher was from the bag. Then Rodriguez decided to give him the flip. They still get the job done with the double play. Once in a while you get to know your shortstop well. You know which ones he's going to take by himself. Not a lot of playing time between those two guys, and a little confusion, but they still get the job done.
Otis Nixon leading off here in the 6th inning. Rounds it to second base. Jody Reed getting it over to John Jaha. 1 up and 1 gone. You turned a few double plays with Rick Burleson.
I let him take all the ground balls, the double plays he wanted. Get out of his way because he had some kind of throwing arm, strong throwing arm, and I used to like to watch him throw across the field.
Well, here's Andy Tombolin batting for the 4th time tonight in his Red Sox debut. He's gone 0 for 3. Tombolin signed by the Red Sox as a free agent this February. A lot of time in the Braves system, a lot of time, not a lot of time, but a little time in the Pirate system. Did get to the big leagues with the Pirates for 27 games last year, had 12 hits and 42 at bats. And parts of 3 seasons with the Richmond Braves, which is Atlanta's top farm club. Drives this one on a line to right field, but Tomiski has him played perfectly. 2 up and 2 going.
Very straight up and down stance for Tomlin. When I saw it in the 1st inning, it kind of reminded me of somebody. And thinking back, and it's years back, the former Red Sox player Joe LaHood had a very similar stance to that. That ball hard right at the right fielder, but still looking for his first hit of the night. A couple of line drives. Had a base hit taken away from last time by the shortstop Valentin. That ball hit right in the button.
So 2 hits for Tomberlin tonight in Mike Easler's little black book again, but 0 for 4 so far in his Red Sox debut. Greenwell's had a good night, going 2 for 3, a single to center and a home run. Slide to left his last at bat in the 4th. Ground ball, second base, room service hop there for Jody Reed over to John Jaha. Red Sox go quickly in the 6th inning, 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. We head to the 7th. Sox on top, 7-1. Here we go. Top of the 7th inning. Matt Mieske leads off for the Brewers against Aaron Sele. Sele has a 7-1 lead. Given up 1 run, 5 hits so far. Has 2 strikeouts. Has walked 3. Struggled through the first 4 innings. The Brewers stranded 6 runners against him. He has faced the minimum number of hitters here the last 2 innings. Helped out, of course, by the double play ball to end the 6th. 2 balls and a strike on Mieske. He's been up twice and has 2 hits tonight. A single to left in the 2nd, a double to right in the 4th. After Mieske's double to right, Sele retired 6 in a row, has now retired 7 of the last 8 batters he's faced. Scott Cooper makes the play at 3rd, over to Mo Vaughn. 1 gone to start the Milwaukee 7th.
The Bo Sox fan club will sponsor 15 players between the ages of 9 and 16 to attend the Mike Andrews baseball camp at Bentley College from July 17th to the 23rd. Players are urged to write a letter in their own words telling why they would like to be selected for one of these Bo Sox scholarships. Letters must be received by June the 5th. Please mail them to the Bo Sox Club Baseball Camp Contest, care of the Boston Red Sox, 4 Yorkie Way, Boston, Mass. 02215.
Batter Jose Valentin. He looks at the fastball wide. 1 ball, no strikes. Roger Clemens and Ricky Bonas to close out this series here tomorrow night. Steve Burton has the digest at 6:30, and the ball game follows at 7. Red Sox getting an extended first look at the Milwaukee Brewers here. Sele, after his 4th win of the season. Valentin picks up his first hit of the night. Comes with 1 out here in the 7th inning. That's 6 now for the Brewers against Sele.
Well, Valentin had been having a difficult time offensively coming into this series. Had a couple of hits in the ball game last night. Picks up that line drive base hit. This lineup kind of changed around a little bit for Phil Garner, with Kevin Seitzer being hurt in the first game of this series, the hamstring problem.
Top of the order we go again. Here's Jody Reed. Reed looks at a called strike. Reed hitting .250 now on the year. No homers and 10 runs batted in. Has a base hit and 3 at-bats tonight. Has hit safely in all 3 games of the series. And the count is 0-2. Mentioned, I think, before, Reed had a pretty good lone year in Los Angeles. Improved his average 19 points last year over his final Red Sox figure of 92. He hit .276 for the Dodgers in 132 games. Led National League second baseman in fielding percentage. Set a Dodger club record. Made just 5 errors at second last year. Lines this one foul down the right field line. .993 fielding percentage for Jody Reed at second base last year. Valentin held at first by Mo Vaughn. 2-strike pitch. Reed grounds at the second. Could be 2. Fletcher to Rodriguez. Back to Vaughn. This time the 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. 7th inning stretch time here at Fenway. 7-1 Red Sox. Okay, thank you, Steve. It's a 7-1 lead for the Red Sox. They come to bat here, bottom half of the 7th inning. A number of defensive changes for Milwaukee. Spires, the normal third baseman, or the third baseman who started the ball game tonight, Billy Spires, will move to shortstop. Going into play third base, Jeff Cirillo. Cirillo just recalled the other day from New Orleans. He took Kevin Seitzer's place on the roster, so Cirillo is at third base, and moving to second base will be Jose Valentin. That will remove Jody Reed from the ball game. Nilsson at catcher is also given way, and Matheny will take over behind the plate. Mike Matheny, who caught the ball game out here on Monday. So Matheny is catching. Jaha at first. Valentin at second. Spires at short. Cirillo at third around the infield. Still Vaughn, Ward, and Mieske in the outfield. Cal Eldred continues on the mound as Mo Vaughn leads off here in the bottom of the 7th. 1 ball, no strikes to Mo, who has a double, a home run, and 3 runs batted in tonight. As his average up to .372. 10 home runs now on the season for Vaughn. Mo now with 27 runs batted in. Up high to Vaughn. 2 balls, no strikes. 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Red Sox. 1 run, 6 hits. And no errors for the Brewers. 3-0 pitch to Vaughn. In for a called strike.
Jeff Cirillo, who has been put in at third base, is tonight making his major league debut. He was called up yesterday. Kevin Seitzer on the disabled list.
Tight. Good time to get the youngster in the ball game as Vaughn draws the walk. Leadoff walk here in the 7th.
Number 26, Jeff Cirillo.
Well, things obviously have gone from bad to worse down at Causeway Street. 3-0 now, New Jersey, second period.
Now catching, number 22, Mike Matheny. Batting for Boston.
Walk to Vaughn, the 5th issued tonight by Cal Eldred. Faces the designated hitter, Andre Dawson. Dawson ground ball, base hit, left field. Dawson's 3rd hit of the night. So both Dawson and Greenwell have hit their way out of a slump tonight. Greenwell with a single, a home run, and Dawson has gone 3 for 4.
That's exactly, too, what Hobson and the rest of the Red Sox want to see. Dawson get hot again, and certainly Greenwell turn it around. Both guys very active in this ball game tonight.
It's sort of funny. Butch Hobson holding court in his office before the game predicted that Dawson would get 4 hits, but he's not going to take him out, so he's going to wind up with 3 for the evening.
Lee Tinsley replacing Dawson over at first base.
Checks in with first base coach Frank White. It was White who brought out the lineup card tonight, so he might be doing that for a while. Sox with Vaughn at second, Tinsley at first, nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Mike Fetters, a right-hander, just now starting to loosen up for Milwaukee Brewers. Monroe, the pitching coach, out to talk with Eldred. Also gather some more time for Fetters down in that bullpen.
Eldred has pitched into the 7th. Been a struggle for him all night. He's given up 7 runs, 10 hits, has struck out 2 and walked 5. Facing Scott Cooper. Little looper to short. Gathered in there by Spires, and there's one going.
Infield fly called on that by the umpires, and you talk about getting deep in the kitchen. That's exactly what Eldred did that time to Scott Cooper. I mean, he really got into the hands. You could hear the bat crack from up here, and that little soft fly ball to the shortstop. You don't want to hit his mad, because he'll go back and right down those runway steps, blow off a little steam, and then come back to the bench.
Batter catcher Rich Rowland. Rowland looks at ball 1. Rowland knocked in 2 runs with an RBI single to left back in the 1st inning. The Red Sox 3rd and 4th of the night. Walked in the 3rd inning and then went down swinging in the 5th. Two-0 pitch, and wide, 3 balls and no strikes. Called strike. 3-1 now on the Red Sox catcher. Vaughn at second base, Lee Tinsley at first, 1 out here, bottom of the 7th. Eldred deals 3-1 to Rowland, who pops it up. Infield fly rule. Valentine at second makes the catch, and there's 2 gone. Let's go down and check in with Steve Burton, see if the Bruins are getting closer, the Devils are pulling away. Steve?
Well, the Bruins are getting a little closer, Bob, with Boston down 3-0. Mariusz Tchaikovsky one-hands a pass from Adam Oates over Chris Terreri. It's now 3-1 New Jersey after 2. Bob?
Well, the Bruins have 20 minutes to stave off elimination. Saw that score. 2nd intermission down at the Garden. 3-1 for the Devils. (7-1) for the Red Sox here at Fenway. Scott Fletcher looks at a called strike. Fletcher's hit into the 5-4-3 double play, has walked and been singled to left. Fletcher has got 3 starts against the Brewers here in this series at Fenway, and has hit safely in all 3 of them. Prescott, of course, played for Milwaukee before coming over to the Sox last year. He was part of that Brewer club that Bill Garner's first team in Milwaukee that went 92 and 70. Were in the pennant race right up until the end. Wound up finishing 4 games behind the Blue Jays.
Bob, who was that? Terrari in goal tonight for Washington?
I believe that's who.
It is Terrari, huh? What is he, just goal against in the Boston Garden?
He only works the road game.
Only works the road games. Not a bad deal.
Ball 2 strikes now, the count on Fletcher. Ball and 2 strikes, the count. Mo Vaughn, who led the inning with a walk, now down at second base with 2 outs. Lee Tinsley pinch running for Andre Dawson at first. Scott Fletcher, he waits the 1-2 delivery. A fastball inside from Eldred. Sox have picked up 2 home runs tonight. Greenwell's solo blast in the 3rd, a 2-run shot by Mo Vaughn in the 4th. Second and 3rd home runs given up this year by Cal Eldred. That one will get away from Matheny, and the runners will move up. Vaughn to third base and Tinsley down at second.
Well, Matheny maybe crossed up on that particular pitch from Eldred. Like a breaking ball, a slider that was down in the dirt, just hits right off the heel of that catcher's mitt and gets away. Runners will be able to advance to second and third. Vaughn and Tinsley.
Scored a pass ball. A base knock here by Fletcher could give the Red Sox 2 more runs in the bottom of the 7th. 3-2 pitch from Eldred to left center field. Turner Ward is over with the call and the catch, and that will retire the side. So the Red Sox no runs in the 7th inning on 1 hit. No Milwaukee errors. Sox will strand a pair, and they'll take a 7-1 lead to the 8th. Well, Aaron Sele has pitched into the 8th inning. Here we were worried about whether he'd make it through the first 3 or so, and he's 1 out away from matching his longest outing of the year.
Yeah, I guess the bottom line of that, Bob, is we worry too much. Didn't think Darwin was going to make it out the other night. He ended up pitching very well after that, and almost the same type of outing tonight from Sele.
Lee Spires sends it foul.
You could see it too, the way he's going about his business now. He's working much quicker. Really a slow pace in the early going. Things weren't going his way. But still, even with the troubles, only 1 run.
Now, since Miski's 1-out doubled in the 4th inning, he's faced the minimum number of hitters, 10. Has retired 8 of them, and of course has picked up 2 double plays behind him. He's motoring right along here. Has a 7-1 lead in the 8th inning. A ball and 2 strikes on Billy Spires. Seven runs have provided some obviously much needed offense for the Red Sox. And Sele's performance, some much needed rest for that Sox bullpen. Curveball upstairs. 3 balls, 2 strikes. He hasn't had really the real sharp hook tonight, has he?
Not like we've seen certainly in the past. A couple of games ago against the Angels, I thought that was the best one he's ever had in a Red Sox uniform.
Part of the maturing process, obviously, as a major league pitcher, is to go out and be able to do what Sele has done tonight without your best stuff. It's the 4th walk off of Sele. Walking the leadoff hitter, Billy Spires, here in the 8th inning.
Well, the other thing that he's done too is he's gone very deep in this ball game tonight and given that bullpen some time off.
As I said, with the way the bullpen has gone, he would go a little deeper with people like Sele and obviously Clemens, and the other night with Darwin. He might normally go.
He doesn't seem too concerned about what's happened out there in the bullpen. Feels like they're going through a slump, just like hitters go through slumps, just like fielders go through slumps. Greg Harris has been off. I talked to him a little this afternoon. He says, I just had no idea where my curveball was going last night. He says, but I've been around long enough to know that that can turn around in one outing.
Had those 2 wild pitches during the 6-run Brewer rally in the 7th inning last night.
Looks like Harris is just now getting up in the Red Sox bullpen.
Sele ahead of Turner Ward, 0-2. And gets him swinging. 3rd strikeout of the night for Aaron Sele.
Strikeout high this year for Sele was 8. That was in a game against the Oakland A's. Also had a 7 strikeout night. Not big strikeout numbers tonight, though, and very seldom do you see him get a strikeout on a high fastball like that. Most of the time it's on the breaking ball.
Major league high for Sele. Struck out 11 against the Tigers last September here at Fenway. Speaking of the Motor City Nine, their lead is now 6-1 over the A's in the 6th inning at Tiger Stadium. Batter is Greg Vaughn. Fastball up high. Yankees 5, the Indians 3. They're in the 7th in New York. Baltimore and Toronto 1-1 in the 5th at Camden Yards.
Yankees certainly have been hot.
On top in the American League East. Yankees started the night with a half-game lead over the Orioles, a game and a half up on the Red Sox. Yankees had ripped off 5 straight wins, going for number 6 tonight. One pitch from Sele, breaking ball, line to 3rd, speared by Cooper, back to Mo Vaughn, but diving across is Billy Spires. So it pulled Vaughn off the base anyway. So Greg Vaughn lining out to Scott Cooper at 3rd.
Number 22.
The curveball here by Sele, one of the better ones he has thrown tonight. Down and away from Vaughn. He's still able to get to it, hit a hard line drive. Cooper would throw across the diamond, but even if it was on the money, it wouldn't have been in time to get Spires. Talk about a cardinal sin, getting doubled off when you're down by 6 runs.
Mike Matheny bats for the first time tonight. Came on as a replacement for Dave Nilsson. 125 average for Matheny, no homers. Still looking for his first run batted in. Made just his 2nd start as a major league catcher here on Monday.
Aaron Sele just 1 out away from his career long outing.
The 0-2 pitch is down low. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Mike Matheny. And his first major league hit, a single off Seattle's Dave Fleming. That was on April the 17th. Strike 3 called. Sele gets victim number 4. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. After 7.5 here at Fenway, Sele has a 7-1 lead. Changes for the Milwaukee Brewers. Sox bat here, bottom of the 8th inning. Alex Diaz takes over from Turner Ward in center field. Diaz getting into the ball game, and a new pitcher for Milwaukee. Finally, Eldred gives way, and Mike Fetters will take over here in the bottom of the 8th.
Mike Fetters making his 11th appearance of the season. A record of 0-1. ERA stands at 3. 16 hits allowed in 12 innings. 8 strikeouts and 6 walks. Opponents hitting .327 for Fetters. Last time he worked was against Toronto. That was back on the 8th. Inning in 2/3 in that game. A couple of hits and no runs.
So Eldred goes 7 innings. Gives up, 7 runs, 10 hits, strikes out 2, and walks 5. Now the crowd is rumbling down there. What's that mean, Jerry? The Bruins are up to something?
Means that probably the score is tied 3-3. That would be my guess. And both those goals coming in about 10 seconds.
Carlos Rodriguez leading off here, bottom of the 8th inning. Fly ball, center field. Alex Diaz getting tested immediately.
Number 2, center field, Otis Nixon.
Aaron Sele has gone 8 innings. This will be his first major league complete game. Anybody who chops and brings on somebody in the 9th inning. Batter is Otis Nixon.
I'll make a prediction. I'm going to predict a 5-3 final. 4-3. Then Washington's going to pull the goalie. They're going to get an extra one, make it 5-3. Bruins win. That's what I'm going to call for. Who did I say? Oh, did I? Excuse me.
Anyway, it's a 5-3 Bruins win. It's 3-3 the last we heard. It's getting 2 quick goals of the 3rd period to tie it up 3-3. Otis Nixon draws a walk, his 2nd of the night. 6 walks issued by Milwaukee pitching.
Right field, Andy Tomberlin.
Well, Andy Tomberlin has been up 4 times. He is hitless in 4 at-bats in his first game as a Red Sox ball player. Has hit the ball hard his last 2 trips to the plate, lining out to short in the 4th, and Nemiski in right field in the 6th. Tomberlin actually began his career as a pitcher, pitching in '86 through '87, deep in the Braves system. Pitched in the Sele League and the Appalachian League. Chop off the plate. Going to be a tough play there, and Valentine won't be able to turn it. It'll be a base hit for Andy Tomberlin.
Kind of funny how this game goes. A couple of times tonight he's hit the ball very hard and did not have a base hit. Now he'll top one right off the plate and show some pretty good speed heading down that first base line. Valentine knew he had to rush it, did not make it clean, and should be a base hit, I'm sure, for Tomberlin.
Mike Greenwell.
He called a Baltimore chop. Tomberlin with an infield single. Nixon at second base. Tomberlin aboard at first with 1 out, and here's Mike Greenwell. Ground ball to short. Spires with the flip. And the Brewers turn the double play. Valentine to Jaha to complete it. 6-4-3. And so we'll head to the top of the 9th inning. Red Sox leading 7-1.
NESN's exclusive coverage of Red Sox baseball is being brought to you in part by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you, friends know when to say when. By Geo, inviting you to get to know the newest Geo Prism, only a Chevrolet Geo dealer. By your local New England Chrysler Plymouth dealers. By Fleet Bank, a member of Fleet Financial Group. We're here to make a difference. By Mobile One, the advanced synthetic motor oil. Keeps your engine running like new. And by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me.
Underway here in the ninth inning. That was pitch number 123 tonight from Aaron Sele, fouled back by John Jaha. So 123 pitches thrown by Sele, 71 for strikes. He is going after his first major league complete ball game. Charged by Carlos Rodriguez in time to get Jaha at first. So Sele is now 2 outs away. Sele does have 9 complete games in his professional career, all in the minor league level. And 4 with Winter Haven in '91, 2 with Lynchburg in '92, and 1 at New Britain, and then 2 last year with the Paw Sox. Of course, a lot of times in the minor leagues you can get those 7-inning complete games. When they play a doubleheader, they play 2 7s.
I'll bet you if you'd asked him about 6-7 innings ago if he'd have got one tonight, he probably said no chance.
So would have we.
Number 12, the designated hitter.
DH Brian Harper. Harper fouls it back. 1 strike to count. Harper has lined to second, flied to left, and hit into the 6-4-3 double play. Sox 2 outs away from breaking a 5-game losing streak. Harper ground ball, flagged down by Vaughn. Vaughn to Sele. What a play by Mo Vaughn. Well, Vaughn's had the 2-run homer tonight and now turns in a defensive gem at first base.
Everything clicking tonight for the Red Sox. The very good starting pitching. Obviously the offense with the 7 runs and home runs, and now the defense with Mo Vaughn.
Number 30, right field, Matt Reesky.
Now Aaron Sele's first major league complete game, now 1 out away. Matt Reesky, right fielder of the Brew Crew. Sele goes fastball down and away. 1 ball, no strikes. 21,471 on hand with us here at Fenway tonight. Reesky fouls it at the dish. 1-1 the count. Crowd not happy with Jim Joyce on that call. 2 balls and a strike. Reesky drives this one right down the right field line. Could be trouble right in the corner. Foul. Miss a home run by much. Runs the count to 2-2. Sele tonight through 8 2/3 innings has given up 1 run, 6 hits, has struck out 3 and walked 4. 1 strike away from his first complete game. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Sele. It is up high for ball 3. Offering. Ground ball over Sele's head and back to second base and into center field. Reesky keeps the party going for Milwaukee. Picking up his 3rd hit of the night.
3-2 count. Sele going with the fastball and right back up over his head up the middle for the base hit. Crowds are all standing, clapping, wanted the last out of the ball game. They're going to have to wait at least 1 more batter. So was Aaron Sele.
Sele's given up 7 hits tonight. 3 of them belong to Reesky. 2 to Jaha, 1 to Jody Reed, and 1 to Jose Valentin, who's at the plate right now. Runner takes off. Valentin drives it to center. Should be the ball game. There is Otis Nixon, and the Red Sox will win it by a score of 7-1. Aaron Sele, a complete game winner. He is now 4-1 on the season.
The mobile extra mile play of the game will be the base hit by Rich Rowland back in the 1st inning with the bases loaded. Drove in runs number 3 and 4 for the Red Sox, and it really helped to get the Red Sox off to a quick 4-run first inning. Mobile goes the extra mile for you.
Now Sele went the extra mile tonight. First major league complete ball game goes the distance. The Red Sox beat the Brewers by a score of 7-1. Stay tuned for Steve Burton and Red Sox Instant Replay.